Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
We are largely unfamiliar with Shang-Chi, and this popped up. Also, my brother looked at it. Shang-Chi official trailer breakdown, characters explain Easter eggs and things you missed from Heavy Spoilers, the YouTube channel. So if you enjoyed the video that we're about to watch, please head over to their channel, give them a subscribe and a like on the original video. There'll be a link in the description below. We are super excited about Shang-Chi. I was blown away by the trailer and can't wait for more information to
Yes, I want to know more.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and huge happy birthday to Simu Lee, who is likely celebrating with the first trailer for Shang-Chi. The movie stars him as the titular character, and he's the first Asian superhero to head up a Marvel movie. Sorry, Scarlett Johansson. The trailer is incredible, and throughout this video we're going to be discussing some of its characters, the Easter eggs, things you missed, and everything you need to know about it. Thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Okay, so the Ten Rings are an organization that you will likely remember from the first Iron Man movie. The terrorist organization was hired by Obadiah Stane to kidnap Tony Stark, and they pretty much put him on the path to become Iron Man. Iron Man 3 starred Guy Pearce as Aldrich Killian, who was posing as their leader, the Mandarin, and the Marvel one-shot that accompanied that film showed the actor Trevor being confronted by one of their members in prison. Killian taking on the moniker caused a lot of controversy, and Kevin Feige has stated that they're righting that wrong by having the real Mandarin appearing in this film. Yay! The movie itself is apparently going to show the criminal empire that he has amassed over the years. This film is actually set to show events that happened between the snap and the blip, as well as the aftermath of it, bringing us fully up to speed with the MCU. If you cast your mind back to Endgame, you'll remember that there was a big bit with Hawkeye in which he was taking down mobsters in Tokyo.
Yes!
This arc is apparently going to be expanded on, and we will follow certain members of the Ten Rings as they seize power during the collapse of society. Though we might not see things from Hawkeye's perspective, we could see these mobsters potentially popping up in the movie, explaining certain parts in Endgame. It's all connected. Now, as for the Mandarin, the film is going to be making him not only the leader of the Ten Rings, but also the father of Shang-Chi.
Yes.
This differs quite a lot from the comic books, as in those it was Fu Manchu who was his dad. However, Marvel came out and said that because he played on a lot of stereotypes that he's a bit of a problematic character, and thus they've decided to combine both the Mandarin and Fu Manchu into, well, the Mandarin. This is something similar to what they did with Whiplash, who was a combination of Crimson Dynamo and, well, Whiplash. Now, there's actually a big article on Wikipedia that talks about the controversy that Fu Manchu has caused over the years, such as his nonsensical name, the fact he's basically just a stereotype, and also that he said in a book once, kill the white man and take his woman. So yeah, just avoid all that if you can. Yeah, I'm quite happily married with my wife now, played by Koay. Director Destin Daniel Cretton has said that they want to smash Asian stereotypes, and that the Mandarin will be the character to do this.
That's what I was talking about. This is what I had read. The director really wanted to smash the stereotypes, especially with the character of the Mandarin, because of how problematic this original character of Fu Manchu was. Also, what he didn't mention is that Marvel doesn't actually have the rights to the Fu Manchu character anymore. So in addition to him just being a bit of a, you know, character that doesn't really have a place today, like doesn't feel right, they don't actually have the rights to him. So.
But when you say smashing stereotypes, you're simply talking about Fu Manchu.
Well, like the stereotypes of Asian people and you know, like how it's been in Hollywood in the past of like, oh, you know, hi, I'm Asian, you know, like that kind of stuff. The type of look and the funny name.
Maybe something's wrong with me, but like I'm just not offended by it. I can see why some people find it problematic because of the kind of perception that it'll create, and then it'll have the Apu effect, where now people will use it to make fun of other people, but it's like, you know, people will find anything to leverage as a joke on someone else. Anything. And so it's just like one less thing, fine, whatever. I don't, one way or the other, it's like I'm not even familiar with Shang-Chi, so for me it doesn't really make a difference, it's just a wash. As far as stereotypes go, it's like, okay, sure, but like, I can't help the fact that it's a martial arts epic with Asians. It's like, you know, that's just gonna be what we have been seeing Asians do and will continue to see Asians do because it's dope.
Yeah, it is dope, but equally I'm super excited that we have an Asian Marvel hero taking center stage.
Sure. As popular as Armie Hammer is at a vegan meetup, and thus, in my opinion, they've definitely done the right thing. As for Shang-Chi, in the MCU, he's been trained by his father in the ways of martial arts since he was a child, and the character has very much seen the ins and outs of the criminal organization. In the source material, they've never out and out said what his powers and abilities are, and depending on what you read, very much depends on what version you get. Though he has possessed superhuman abilities from time to time, on the whole, Shang-Chi tends to just be a normal person with a very certain set of skills. Because of this, Shang-Chi is a next-level athlete that's often referred to as the greatest empty-handed fighter in the Marvel Universe. Move over, Iron Fist, you stupid chump. Get the hell out of here. Now, Shang-Chi has mastered Chi, and because of this, he's able to push his body beyond the usual limitations that normal people face.
Like
you can basically do a trailer breakdown 20 minutes after the trailer releases, which is almost as fast as me, eh? God damn. Now, being able to tap into this energy force means that he has a heightened sense of awareness to everything around him. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here by saying that the film will pretty much revolve around him going toe-to-toe with his father, and he will likely wrestle with whether to keep it in the family like Steve and Sharon Carter, or become his own man that fights for truth and justice. Spoiler alert, it's probably the latter.
Most likely.
He's also going to be joined by his estranged sister, Jia Ling, who will also be the Mandarin's daughter. Spoiler alert again. Now, I kind of feel that if the Mandarin gets taken down in this film, that she might step into his shoes and could end up becoming the villain in any feature films. Ares has said that Shang-Chi is one of the only people on Earth that could stand toe-to-toe with the god, and though he probably won't be facing off against them, we do know that Fin Fang Foom will be in the film, and that this dragon supervillain will probably cause a lot of issues too. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull this off, but I kind of feel that they're going to weave this in as a challenge for Shang-Chi to take on. In the comics, however, he is a big supervillain, so they might even have it all connected to the Ten Rings, and this could come as a big shock to Shang-Chi, who discovers that his father is in league with the monster. That might lead to him uncovering the truth, but again, all fan theories at the moment.
So he fights a dragon?
I guess. He is a baddie. He's a villain. But his name is super funny to me. Fin Fang Foom.
Fang Foom. Yeah.
That's another funny name.
Yeah.
Fu Manchu, no good. Fin Fang Foom, we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I find interesting though, and what I think is going to be a really cool part of the movie, is that whole relationship between father and son, and between, you know, taking on the family business and doing what you've been trained to do versus doing what you feel in your heart. People within the Asian community, that's something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with. There's this sense of obligation and duty of like, you must do what I have set up for you. You're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. You're going to follow in the family footsteps and do the family business. I hear more and more people just going, you know, no, I want to do what I feel in my heart. I think it's kind of like that, like a family drama, but on a bigger, you know, superhuman, superhero scale.
All fan theories at the moment. The Funko Pops for the character show that he's called the Great Protector, so who knows, he might even be a good guy. The next big character we need to discuss is Katie, who, according to the wiki, is Shang-Chi's friend.
He's not going to be called Fin Fang Foom, probably. He's going to be called the Great Protector.
That sounds nicer.
And I don't think he's going to fight the dragon. I think the dragon is going to be like a voice of reason, maybe, or something to guide him, more likely. I don't know. I mean, I'm just going off of what I'm seeing here.
But mythologically, and especially in the Chinese culture, dragons are very positive.
Right.
Friend being in quotation marks, I'm guessing. Now, according to interviews, she's going to be thrust into a world where she doesn't really know what to do, and at the same time, she'll be discovering things about herself. We also have Jia Li, as well as Razor Fist. Razor Fist is a supervillain that has no superpowers, but like Shang-Chi, he has quite a high level of stamina and strength. After honing his body to perfection, he decided to take the next logical step and replace his hand with a blade. Makes sense. Now, in the comics, there's been 3 versions of the character, with some cutting off both hands, whilst others just did the one. Makes it a nightmare when you have a girlfriend if you do both, so this version is just going to have the one. And there's also going to be Ronnie Cheng as Jun Jun and Michelle Yeoh as Jia Nan. She's previously featured in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but at the moment they are doing a lot of things with actors playing different people, so I guess it's just one of those things.
I was gonna tell you when we were watching the trailer, but because you hadn't done your research, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of want it to be a surprise. Like maybe in the proper trailer instead of the teaser, there'll be something with Michelle Yeoh, because I know how much you love her.
Yeah, they didn't show her.
I was wondering if maybe she was in the scene where it kind of looked like a flashback. That
Probably.
Kind of very beautiful
that makes sense. Yeah.
thing. I thought maybe that was her.
Now the trailer starts off with the Mandarin discussing how he's allowed Shang-Chi to have 10 years to live his life. We know that he's had a good time during this, but now he's been called back to do his family duties. We see him as a valet and also hanging out with some friends, taking selfies, you know, just a normal life. Now 10 is an
Super
important
Asian.
number as he was also trained for 10 years as a boy, which we see in the first look.
Yeah.
This training chronicles him growing up, and it's clear he was put through his paces in order to be the best. It's here we're introduced to Death Dealer as well, who is one of his father's closest allies.
Oh,
Shang-Chi is definitely going to be going head to head with him at several points as he tried to take his dad down, and expect to see some amazing fight sets with this character. Now this training was put in place so that the most dangerous people in the world wouldn't be able to kill him. Being the son of the head of a criminal empire obviously makes him a target, and the Mandarin was likely worried that he might be captured and used for ransom. This could explain why we see him doing low-level jobs throughout the trailer, as they might have been put in place for him to keep a low profile. It's here that we also get a close look at Razor Fist. Yeah. Now it looks like there's also going to be some supernatural elements in the film, such as some giant beasts and sideways water. That's a scientific term. Now the film seems to be very steeped in the elements, and there could be people who can control water. It seems like the Mandarin is almost the one doing it at one point, as he opens up a vault, making me think that he is perhaps the one doing it. However, that might be wrong, but with so many changes to the source material, you just don't know. Now we get a closer look at the beasts later on, and I'm guessing just in the same way that rhinos were used in Black Panther, that this will happen with them and also the winged creatures.
They look kind of like lions to me.
Yeah, they
like
do.
the lions you get at Chinese New Year.
Because this is our first time truly seeing Shang-Chi, it's like you could literally do anything you want, and that's going to become what is remembered.
Yeah, it's going to be canon.
Yeah, we've been watching Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men. We've been watching them, and we're very familiar with their powers and what they can do and whatnot. With Spider-Man, they sort of changed up, you know, whether it's biological or whether it's a cartridge of some kind, his web.
Yeah.
There's little things you can mess with, but for the most part, we have a good understanding of these characters that have been around a very, very long time.
Yeah.
With Shang-Chi, they have a lot of wiggle room here.
Well, I think also because they stopped doing the comic back in '83. The source material, I don't know how expansive or limited it is, and so maybe this is just a really cool way to just revamp the character and just bring him up to date.
At one point we see that the Mandarin has 10 rings around his wrist, 5 on each side, and these power up in the trailer. There's a bit where someone is using something similar to destroy a table, and I'm guessing that this is the Mandarin possessing superhuman abilities at this point. There's also an interesting part in which he fights his sister in what seems to be a tournament. Shang-Chi was very much the favourite, and thus she's had to go off and craft her own legend, potentially taking part in things like this. This is why I think that she will take the mantle at some point, and this fight definitely sets up their rivalry.
This has slight overtones of Avatar The Last Airbender. But I mean, this predates Avatar The Last Airbender, so it's entirely possible that the creators of Avatar really liked Shang-Chi comics, if this is, depending on how much this is based on the source material. You know?
Or if they just kind of were influenced the other way around and were like, oh, we really like that rivalry between Zuko and his sister.
Yeah.
Speaking of Razor Fist, Shang-Chi fights him on a bus at one point, and we really see how good the martial art is going to be in this movie. It looks incredible, and I love the fight scenes on display here. There's also a shot of ancient times, potentially showing a battle that happened centuries ago involving the 10 rings.
Flashback.
I might be digging too deep, but the shot we see of the Mandarin in the trailer at one point makes him seem like he's dressed in ancient attire.
Yeah.
The character might even be immortal in this movie, and we could see his very first battle happening here.
This shot is so dope, by the way, because it moves into it and the rings perfectly are around his head.
Around him.
Very, very cinematic. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's very aesthetically pleasing.
The 10 Rings is an organization that's existed over the millennia, so if he lives forever, then it does make a lot of sense why he's managed to keep control.
Maybe that's part of his power with the rings. Maybe that keeps him alive.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's existed over the millennia, So if he lives forever, then it does make a lot of sense why he's managed to keep control.
Is it at all remotely possible at all that there is vibranium in that stuff?
When I watched the trailer initially, that was my first thought. I was like, oh, it looks kind of like Wakandan tech. But hey, maybe other people can do tech as well.
Sure. Asians and they invented a lot of stuff. They invented the printing press, right?
Asians?
Chinese people did.
Gunpowder.
They invented they did invent gunpowder. Yes, they did. And so there's probably gunpowder in there.
As mentioned earlier, Shang-Chi is someone that can take on superpowered beings, and therefore having his dad have certain abilities, it just makes the stakes higher. It's even possible that the 10 rings themselves grant superhuman abilities, and this is where the legend of the 10 rings comes from. It's Captain Obvious. Now, they seem like a MacGuffin, similar to the Infinity Stones, and the Mandarin wearing them, clearly having advanced abilities, it all just makes sense. Now the trailer ends with a bus crash scene that's very similar to Speed, with the Sandra Bullock-esque character doing the driving whilst Shang-Chi busts up the bad guys. It's a great way to end it, and I can't wait to see it. And I know she's not called the Sandra Bullock trailer yet. I know exactly who she is. Anyway. Now as for my thoughts on the trailer, I have to say I really enjoyed it. I like that Marvel is actually starting to really shed light on different cultures, and if they can pull it off with Black Panther, I'm sure they can do it with this too.
Yeah.
I really want to see some cool martial arts in this movie, and it looks like it could be something really, really special. Though I'm not too well versed in the Shang-Chi mythos, I did the reading last night and became an expert, and I'm really glad to see what this movie is going to do. We've got a lot of Marvel stuff coming up this year, and it feels great that after a year of delays that we're getting all this content coming thick and fast. Really liked it, and I'd of course love to hear your thoughts on the trailer. If there's anything I missed, let me know. If there's a character you think is going to be bigger, let me know. And if you just hated my accent and pronunciation, then let me know.
The mask also has that look that Zuko wore in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a very like kabuki kind of.
Yeah, which kind of feels a little bit odd because kabuki's Japanese, right? But
yes, it is. But Asian.
But it's cool.
Asian culture. Can't think of anything that's like that I've seen like that in Chinese culture. It might be there, but I don't think any Chinese people are complaining.
No, I mean, it looks badass. There's one Easter egg that I'm surprised he didn't pick up on. It's also, I guess, not really relevant to the whole Shang-Chi and fighting and stuff. It's just a fun little Easter egg. But the song that they were singing in karaoke was A Whole New World.
Wow.
Which, and I kind of love
it. How did you know that?
I read a comment that someone had pointed it out, and then when we rewatched it, I looked at the lyrics and it was over, sideways, and under, and I was like, on a magic carpet ride.
Why wouldn't it be like a Mulan song? Like, who is that girl I see?
A Whole New World is like one of the best karaoke songs to sing.
I know, but it's not Asian.
I sing it every time I go to karaoke.
Mulan is Chinese, isn't she? Like that'd be like right in line.
Who sings Reflection or like I'll Make a Man Out of You at karaoke? I've never seen you do that.
I would totally do it if it was in the stupid book. That's too thick for anyone to look through. Me calling out that was essentially the 1-inch punch, Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch, was apparently accurate. I didn't know that. Someone told me in the comments that Shang-Chi is based on or inspired by Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And so that little thing with the knuckle into the wood is essentially the 1-inch punch. So I'm like, ha, I got one.
What did you think about Shang-Chi's movements in this? Because the lead actor is in fact credited as a stuntman as well in Wikipedia, so I don't know how many of his stunts he's actually doing.
His moves are dope. He had that. You didn't see a whole lot, but it's like from what little I saw, I could tell this dude is dope. This dude knows his shit. It's very clean movement and he's sharp. I mean, like when he did the jump split kick and then he did the posing and whatnot, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's phenomenal. Like I can tell from those little things, his shit looks good. Even the pose, even when he was doing that like little pose, I was like, oh my God, this dude is dope. I'm so excited.
What Marvel does so well is kind of taking the stuff that feels so epic and then making it feel relatable. Yeah. So like we can all relate to a family story, but set in like a really big scale with lots of cool fighting and stuff.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for hanging out, and thank you again to Heavy Spoilers. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel if you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed the video, so I'm subscribed.
So funny.
And you know, subscribe here as well. Bell icon, all notifications, please. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.